Hello again and welcome back to part 2. This video is a little bit rewound. Bisu just lost that Dark Templar again to that tank, and now Bisu is going to pull out, it seems. He cannot stand up to those siege tanks, even with that force of Dragoons. And it looks like Bisu is going to retreat, but not before gaining a huge advantage in this game, I feel. He managed to take down several tanks and several workers. At least, I'd say about at least 10 SUVs have irises and at least 3 tanks, so definitely that was a good harass. And he only lost about 2 Dragoons and 2 Dark Templar. And now let's see what's going to happen. Bisu did put down that 4th base, by the way. So now it is 4 bases to 3. So that's not very good odds for Iris. So definitely, I would say Bisu has a lead. Bisu putting down his observatory now, so those mines are not going to be a problem for him anymore. And also he's putting down an arbiter tribunal, so we are going to see arbiters in a moment, and possibly a recall, and maybe even some stasises, so that would be very awesome. And it looks like Iris is planning to expand, and Bisu is not going to let that happen, or perhaps that SUV was just scouting for when Bisu expanded, so Iris would know. And now Iris might expect that Bisu is going to expand yet again, so that's possible too. And cannons going down at Bisu's 4th base, so no drops are going to hurt Bisu now. But I don't think that Iris is even planning a drop, so really just Bisu playing it safe, just in case. Yeah. And now we have Bisu is going to take that base that SUV was in a moment ago, so he is going to be up to 5 bases, and he is walling off. And that engineering bay is going to scout that 4th base. So Iris is probably going to know that Bisu has 5 bases actually, but there's not much he can do about it. And there's all those tanks. If he could get a Zealot Bomb in here right now, and yes, he does drop the Zealots, those tanks, at least 1 or maybe even 2 might go down right there. And now Bisu is going to push in with the Dragoons at the very same time. And this is very bad for Iris. I would say that this is probably a good game, but it's too early to tell. Those siege tanks might be able to kill a lot somehow. And 3 Dragoons going down to 1 tank shot, that's what I was talking about. And maybe he will hold it out. It looks like Bisu did lose all his zealots, and those are the main things that take out the siege tanks. But maybe Bisu will be able to get this command center, but no, it doesn't look like he's gonna pursue it. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks for Iris, and it's about 3 vultures. So yes, it looks like Iris is gonna hold this off, despite what I thought earlier. Bisu is gonna retreat, but I think this is pretty much Bisu's game at this point. 5 bases to 2 now. I guess you could call it 3. So yeah, and definitely with Arbors coming out, Bisu is all the way up his tech tree, and Iris is still at factories. He doesn't even have an armory yet, much less a starport or a science facility. So yeah, definitely in Bisu's favor. I think he is just going to march in there eventually and be able to take this game. And here we see Bisu sending out a lot of units. I don't know how many gateways he has. It would be interesting to know, but I assume about 6, maybe even 7 or 8 now. And that Arbiter is out, so we might see a status in a second, or maybe even a recall. It looks like those units might be grouping together for some kind of recall. A recall over those tanks would be very, very, very cool. And here come the Vultures, and Iris is going to know that this Arbiter is out. But there's not much he can do about it at this point. And mine's going down, but Bisu does have the observers, so they're not going to do anything really. And it looks like Iris was planning to run those vultures in and maybe snipe at one of Bisu's expansions, probably the one that just went up, the 5th expansion. But no, he's not going to have any luck. Bisu is too smart for that. And High Templar coming out now for Bisu as well, so we are probably going to see some storms in just a moment. Yeah, Bisu's probably going to walk over there and storm all those tanks that are clustered together. And yeah, this game is Bisu's. I can just tell at this point, there's no way that Iris is coming back. I really don't think so anyways. It's possible, and I'm sure players like Slayer's Boxer or maybe even Red Nada can do it. But Iris, not to offend him, but I really don't think he's at that level. He does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 tanks down there. But that's not enough. Just look at the size of Bisu's army. He definitely has a ton of gateways, and he is going to move in right here. and one, two, three more tanks up there, so that is a total of 8 tanks. But storms going off all over those tanks and those vultures and those Goliaths. And yeah, this is not going to work. I think this is going to be a good game right here. But I said that before, and Iris hung on. But I think even if Bisu loses this force, and it looks like he is going to retreat yet again, um, he is weakening Iris's forces, and Bisu has the money and economy to get those forces right back. And Iris, on the other hand, does not. And Bisu taking another expansion. He is up to 6 expansions now. Crazy. So definitely, he is taking advantage of this and taking map control. And Iris is still at just 3 bases. But no, there goes up a 4th base for Iris. But I still don't think it's going to matter. 6 to 4. Constant unit production from Bisu is too much for Iris to handle, I think, in this situation. And it looks like Iris is desperately trying to get some economic harass off. And he might go up there and slip past those cannons. And no, it doesn't look like he's going to do it. Smart move, I think, there by Iris, actually. Those Dragoons would probably just come up and kill those vultures. And there's not very many probes up at that expansion yet. Maybe 4 at the most, so it definitely wouldn't be a worthy trade. Another Stargate going up for Bisu, so maybe we're going to see more. Oh, recall right into Iris's base. This is great. Oh, and it looks like Iris didn't actually manage to tech up in the spare time. He does have a starport and a science facility, down, so he was probably planning to get science vessels and EMP and hit those arbiters, but no, he's not going to have time to do it. And that starport and that science facility go down. And another recall might be coming in just a second. And Iris is just having a ton of trouble dealing with those recalled units as it is. I don't think he wants to move his tanks because of that force that might come through that main door, so he's just going to let his supply depots get sniped off. It looks like Iris did move 3 tanks down to deal with those recalled units, but that's not going to be enough. And definitely, it looks like more than 3. That's about 5 now. He did leave units at the front, though, but not very many, and I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 tanks and a couple vultures. But no, they're all clumped together, and that storm manages to take out about 2 tanks and 1 vulture and 1 storm. And definitely, I think this is it, even though it's the 3rd time I've called it. I think Bisu is going to win right here and now. And there's Iris looking defeated, but he's not going to GG. This is one thing I'm growing to hate about Iris. I think for sure it's over, but he does have like 5 tanks. I didn't see that, so maybe it's not over. And it looks like a lot of Bisu's force is defeated, but for sure Iris cannot take much more of this. And another recall might be coming in right over those tanks, and it looks like it is. Yes, and those tanks are going to go down. There's nothing they can do about it. And this really should be GG at this point. Iris has lost all his tanks and his whole entire army. All he has is vultures at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vultures. And maybe he'll be able to pick off these zealots with the vultures. And here comes Bisu. He's pressing his advantage, and he is going to push in before Iris can get some more units up. So definitely, this is pretty much it. 2 more tanks coming out for Iris, though. And I thought they would go down, but no, the zealots die before they can take that tank down. And an arbiter being shot at by a missile turret. That's poor play there by Bisu. He should move that, and yes, he does move it. Dragoons are coming in, and probes. Is he really going to send the probes in to attack Iris? Yes, he is. That is Bisu saying, hey, dude, it's GG, just give up. But no. Iris is not going to GG at this point. I think he got the message, though. And still, he is managing to hang on. Iris is definitely taking advantage of that. The fact that Terrans can defend so well, but finally Iris does give up in GG, and he finally realizes that he is not going to win. So good game for Bisu. Bisu will be going on in this OSL, so I look forward to seeing him, and maybe he will rise up again to his former dominance. That would be awesome. By the way, guys, if you like Bisu as much as I do, please check out the True Blue. He does have a series called Death by Darkness. It's all about Bisu pretty much in every game, and Bisu at the height of his dominance, so it is awesome to see Bisu like that. So please check out the True Blue StarCraft here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys later.